What are outdated rules at the bar? What are old school rules at the pub that can stop your good time? Now, on the Brew.
Well, when you have a drinking show like this, you know you probably go to the bar every once in a while, but there's always a few outdated rules going on in the bar. So what are some outdated rules that you kind of had enough of?
There's a couple of them. Joe and I are both big-time bar hoppers, and I would say anything. I'll make it more broad. I'll get specific too, but broadly, anything that's harmless that prevents people from just relaxing and being themselves. Because the point of a bar is you're going to go relax, you're going to have a good time with your friends, or you just had a really long shift and you need to unwind. And I've seen bars where you can't wear a hat or you can't wear certain colors. I was in Joe knows this dude, we'll call him Hollywood Blue. I was in Pasadena with him, walking up the street, and it was the only thing open after the Dodger game, right? We went to Dodgers, and we went over to the door, and it said, no bright colors, no backwards hats. It was very, very clearly aimed at black people. Like, they were clearly trying to, like, put it between the lines of, like, we don't want you here, we don't want gang members, we want a certain crowd. But they didn't say it. Obviously, we read between the lines and said, "F this redneck bar," and we bounced. But any bar that does anything like that, where you can't just be yourself, because what if I want to wear bright colors in my hat backwards, and it's not even aimed at me? I bet you they wouldn't say anything if I walked into that bar. But the rule still applies to anything else too.
As I sit here wearing a bright hat backwards, yes, that drives me nuts too. It's you gotta stop that. But that's not my answer. I'm actually going to go on a little bit of a rant here for a second. My answer is no drinks to go. That is such an outdated, it's not the bar's fault, it's outdated blue laws in most of these states that are keeping alcohol from being taken to go. They allowed it during the pandemic, a lot of states, but most of them have cut that off now. Look, what's the big deal of allowing drinks to go? Some states allow it. You can go and walk down the street and smoke pot now in most states, but I can't walk down the street with an open beer. Well, an open beer doesn't stink 5-6 feet down the street and bother your little kid, but yet it's okay to do it with pot. So why is one vice allowed but another's not?
I don't know anywhere it's legal to smoke weed outside.
Well, you can walk around here in New York, like it's not legal, but it's not enough. You can't get fined for it anymore. They're not going to arrest you or do anything for it. So it's basically is legal. You can get away with it. You can do it.
Yeah, I think the comparison's a little bit apples oranges just because of the legality thing. And also it's a little bit, I come from a different perspective because I live in Vegas and it's 24 hours and you can take alcohol to go. So I would agree with that law. I thought it was really crazy that there's certain states where you're in the airport and you can't leave the bar with your drink. Like, what do you think I'm gonna do?
Yeah, two points to make on that one. Exactly, it works fine there in Vegas, the 24-hour drinks to go, and then like Louisiana does this, what's the big deal? And the second thing, back to the walking down the street with a beer, you do that here, they're going to be on you in a second, and you're going to get a ticket, you're going to get busted with that open beer can. But if you walk down that street with a joint, you're not. And I don't understand why alcohol is one rule and marijuana is another. I know because it's a tax thing, it's just why is one legal but not another? It's just BS that comes from our politicians in certain states. Let's just come on. We're all adults. I know people can't handle it sometimes, but let's make a blanket rule somehow or figure it out a little bit better than what we have it right now, because it's a mess. Just like everything that politics gets involved with.
I mean, in this situation, I definitely agree. I think that's a political product of poor political policy. That's a lot of peas in a row. Alliteration for you kids. Anyway, but no, I do agree with you. If anything, you're even more right because alcohol's only going to affect you. If someone's out smoking in public, like you said, it affects other people. One of those things is more harmless than the other one.
Like, I will tell you this, I was standing here at the pedestrian walk signal here the other day, going to work in the morning, guy is right there smoking a joint. I'm at that red light, there's children right there, all of us are now breathing that pot. Why is that okay? But yet if I'm standing there with a can of Old Milwaukee or Bud Light or whatever, that's not. So, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the issue right there. That's the point I wanted to make, just to clear it up. But
there's no politicians like us, Joe. There's no politicians like us.
This is why I won't run for office either, because they would not like me playing the game. But speaking of playing the game, you guys have your own answers. So what's an outdated bar rule that you guys don't like? Here we go. Starman says happy hour ended at 5. He also says, oh, the kitchen is closed. Yeah. Tom says use the spittoon. Speaking of an outdated rule, do you remember? You know what a spittoon is? Do you know what that is?
I've heard it. I don't know.
All bars used to have it out front or even inside. It's when men like in the 1800s would do chewing tobacco, like Kodiak. My grandfather chewed snuff, and he would spit it in a spittoon.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, spittoon. And even, you want to get even older, there's older bars, say in the 1700s, that used to have a trough in the bottom of the bar, and it's when men were only allowed in there, and you would just stand at the bar and take a leak. You wouldn't go to the men's room. You would just basically open your pants, drop your fly, and you just pee right there at the bar. So you're glugging and peeing at the same time. It would run down that trough and out in the street before we even had indoor plumbing. So most of the older bars, they sealed that up, but it's a thing.
When they say millennials are lazy, goddamn.
I don't know if I want to be sitting drinking at the bar though, and there's some dude doing that next to me. I don't like that sitting at a subway station, let alone.
Like, hey, does your beer taste funny? Because there's a weird aerobic thing.
Yeah. Also, it's going in and going out at the same time. You get that thing going through. Like this is opening up a whole can of worms, worse than that pot.
Hey, I'm guilty of that, but only in my own private residence.
Yeah, you do what you want behind closed doors. This is a bar we're talking about here. But our final answer, Bill DM123 says, don't drink and drive. Well, that is true because in this day and age, you can take a ride share if you're really too banged up.
Wait a minute. Was that in response to an outdated rule? Or was that general advice? Because that's a totally different answer.
I don't know. It just says don't drink and drive. I'm guessing, I don't know. I'm saying it's not an outdated rule, but you can get around this by getting a ride share. So we can modernize
right,
it.
People. Ride shares have been popular for 10 years and they've been around for like 15. It's time. It's time to embrace them. There's no excuse for a DUI, especially now the technology has made it easy.
And they also make it expensive too now if you get one. Like these rules, it knocks up your insurance. Like you really don't want one of those now, so that's a little nuts too. But anyhow, hey, so we enjoy all your great comments. Thank you very much. You want to see more? Click the like subscribe button for all the fun here on the Big Jersey Joe 50 YouTube channel, bar talk, game shows, and more, waiting for you and your comments every week. This is kind of a hot topic issue once again here because there's a lot of different ways it can go. The kitchen closed one too, that stinks. But I mean, I understand they got to clean that place up. And happy hour ends at 5. That's not an outdated bar rule. That's just when it's like, oh man, I missed the discount.
Yeah. I wish happy hour was longer in general, but I see why they do it because you have to do it very strategically in town. You're like here, for example, it's a 24-hour city. So they'll have like a happy hour will be like from midnight to like 3 a.m. at a lot of different places. It's like it'll be random hours because they have to strategize because there's other places that are open at that time and you want to get more people in. But obviously they're not going to do it at some peak hours where you don't need business.
Most bars don't even do happy hour anymore. It's happy hours, plural. Which is fine by me.
Yeah, of course.
You know, I wish.
That was never outdated. I wish it lasted the whole 24 hours.
Right, that's what you want. 24 happy hours. But that's what you get here in the big channel. Happy hours and fun. Yeah. All right, anyhow. Thanks for your great comments, Jersey Joe, and I am saying thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time, I hope.
Streaming now on a new Kicking Back with Jersey Joe. How Jersey Joe is giving thanks back to viewers.